Hello everyone and welcome back to the SWVA YouTube channel. You're joined by me, Owen, the classic car specialist and auctioneer here at SWVA. And today we're going to be doing our preview number 2 for our summer classic and performance auction, which takes place on the 31st of July, kicking off at 10 AM on that day. And we've got another 15 cars for you to view today. And we'll kick off with this one here. This one is an Austin A35 van conversion, lot number 24 in the upcoming sale. And this one is a very nice example indeed. It was originally a A35 6/4 weight van, and it's been converted to mimic the Countryman styled A35. So obviously got the rear windows cut into the back as opposed to being the panel van that it originally was. Nice blue finish, cloth interior in it as well. It's actually had some upgraded seats in there, I believe, which are from a Metro, I believe, but can't definitely say so. This one's been in the vendor's family for the last for around 3 decades actually, since 1991, and there's been lots of tasteful upgrades and bits and pieces done to it in the vendor's time of ownership, including a 1098cc engine as opposed to the original 848cc engine, which is actually available to get from the vendor post purchase, and also midget front disc brakes as well, amongst other things like the seats and whatnot. So it's been upgraded so it's a lot more usable, especially in modern traffic. Like I say, it has been converted to the Countryman spec, so it's a lot more usable. Maybe good for a family with children who are looking to get into classics and perhaps take the kids out on some summer trips in a classic car. This one comes to us with an estimate of £2,000 to £3,000. Nice starting price point. Not going to break the bank, but still a lovely example that's obviously been cherished in the vendor's ownership. Moving on then to the second car of this video, we're joined by a lovely example here of a Rover Mini City, lot number 31 in the upcoming sale. And we've dealt with a few of these over the past couple of auctions. They always seem to come to market in very good condition, which is strange really, considering that they were sort of the basic spec really when new, and you would have thought they wouldn't have been particularly desirable. But there's a massive enthusiast following for Minis, and obviously the City E is not excluded from that. Nice cracking example, this one. It's got finish in red, grey interior, half leather with a grey cloth inserts in there as well. And this one's been owned by the vendor for the last 16 years. So yeah, nice long ownership period on it as well. It's got 2 former keepers on the logbook, one of which is believed to be Rover themselves, because we think it was a Rover demonstrator car from new. So yeah, nice car. Like I say, we've had a couple of these in over the past couple of auctions. They are, obviously very popular. This one shows 22,000 miles on the clock. Now, there's a good amount of history with the car. There's actually a full sort of write-up done by the last couple of owners, I believe, of sort of all the service history and MOTs and bits and pieces that were carried out, but we haven't got quite enough invoices on file to warrant the mileage, so it is just believed to be correct. But it's not impossible that a Mini of this age has covered such low mileage. You very rarely see a Mini that is incredibly well traveled, sort of done over 100,000 miles kind of thing. So obviously it's the City spec, very basic, very analog driving experience, plastic wheel arches. This one's got plastic bumpers, it's got plastic around the front there as well. Yeah, not very many extras with it. It is pretty much a back to basics car, but what this car will be perfect for is either a starter classic or even a young person looking to get into classic car ownership, even as a first car perhaps. It's going to be cheap on insurance, it's small, it's easy, it's usable, and it comes to auction at the right price tag as well, £2,000 to £3,000. Similar estimate to what the ones we've sold previously have achieved, and that I think is a very achievable price. We'll move on then to the next car of the video. This one is a very lovely example of a Morris Minor 1000. It's actually a Series 3 4-door saloon, this one, finished in the very rare colour of porcelain green. Nice cloth interior in there as well. And this one's been owned by the vendor for 36 years. A very, very long ownership span. 2 former keepers on the logbook. And it's recently had lots of work completed as well, including a reconditioned engine and new clutch in 2023. So it's had the work done. Presents very nicely. Obviously, Morris Minors, they're not rare, they're very common, but they do have a very strong classic following. They've plenty of parts available, very simple mechanicals and engineering, and just very drivable in modern traffic as well. They're not fast by any means, but they can keep up and not get in the way too much. This one comes to us with an estimate of £3,500 to £4,500. Again, not out of the way, perfectly in budget. When you appreciate that these are a usable classic car for the modern roads. So next one then, this one is definitely for those of you that like the colour green. This is a Triumph 2000, lot number 42 in the upcoming auction. Nice Mark 1 example, this one. Obviously finished in green. It's got a light green interior, and it really does present quite nicely. Now, this has been owned by the vendor for the last 4 years, and it shows just 2 former keepers on the logbook as well. So nice low ownership example, this one. In the vendor's ownership, you have the engine overhauled, you have the brakes redone, and it's got a good amount of paperwork with it as well. Obviously, these Triumph 2000s, designed by Giovanni Michelotti, which makes them very similar to the Triumph Stag, specifically on that front end. I think a lot of you will see the similar design cues to what the Stag had. And yeah, these Triumph 2000s I think they were made up until 1977, when they were then replaced by the Rover SD1. So had a good old run from the early 60s to the late 70s. This one comes to us with an estimate of £3,500 to £4,500. Great value for money, really, for a 60s saloon. It's usable, it's practical, and probably great for some summer drives. So on the note of appreciating classics again, this one is a lovely car. This was a BMW 318 IS. It's lot number 50 in the upcoming sale. And it is a very nice example of an E30 BMW, this one. Obviously, the IS is very desirable, known by enthusiasts as the baby M3 because of its setup is pretty much identical to the M3's, just got a lesser power unit under the bonnet. Now, this car's finished in sterling silver, which I'm told is a rare colour, over a grey cloth interior. It's got those nice check inserts on the inside as well. It's been owned by the vendor for the last 26 years. It's got just 2 former keepers on the logbook. And it's a local car as well, originally supplied in Dorchester. It was then bought by the vendor from Norman & Sons in Bournemouth, from Norman Motors in Bournemouth, sorry, in 1999. And he's had it since then. It's had loads of money spent on it. There's a great big history file with it. Even comes with a stamped service book with 27 stamps in the book, right up till 2022 when it had its last service. It really does present well. The finish on it is very nice. These E30 BMWs are really, really desirable in the market at the moment, and there seems to be like a real enthusiasm for them. So they're definitely growing in popularity. This is great value for money as well. This comes to auction with an estimate of £5,000 to £6,000. For a lovely example of an E30 BMW with loads of history with it, low ownership history as well. It looks like a cracking buy for whoever purchases it. So if you're into your classic BMWs, this one's for you. Now you join me here with a nice mid-century example again. This one is a Rover P4. It is a 110. It's lot number 56 in the upcoming sale. But this car is a bit out of the ordinary compared to your regular P4 Rovers. This one has actually got a 3.5 litre V8 from a Rover P5B under the bonnet, and it's actually using a P5B gearbox as well. So automatic V8. It sounds very nice. This one's been in the ownership of the current registered keeper for the last 17 years. Obviously finishing this nice sort of grey over burgundy two-tone stuff, which is the regular sort of thing with these P4s. It is quite a nice example. Again, not concourse, but usable and presentable as well. Now this one has got a great provenance to it as well. It was actually used on a charity car run by the current registered keeper, who was raising money for his wife who had cancer. He drove it all the way from Land's End to John O'Groats, and that was after the V8 conversion as well. So we obviously did the conversion, drove it up there to raise some money for charity, and it made it all the way, and it looks like it made it back as well because it's made it here. Like I say, very nice example. This one comes to us with an estimate of £3,000 to £4,000. I think that's good, achievable money, really. I look back at the P4s that we had in our last sale, achieved some great prices. So still lots of a following for these things, and hopefully we'll get a good result on this one as well. Next, you join me with another Alpena. We featured one in our last preview. This one is probably just as nice and just as rare as well. This is an example of a BMW Alpena B10. It's got the 4.6 litre V8 under the bonnet. It is obviously a touring as well, so mixing that performance with practicality. It's lot number 62 in the upcoming sale. Obviously nice topaz blue finished, grey leather interior, and on the clock there's just 64,000 miles, which is backed up by service history from new. Now this one's had 4 owners from new, 2 of them being from the same family. It has been in the ownership of the current keeper for quite a while now, I believe, or the current keeper's husband, who unfortunately has now passed away. It's been transferred into her name, but I think that was since the sort of early 2000s, at least late 90s, early 2000s. So nice example, low mileage. It's certainly packs a punch. These things are like rocket ships, much like the other Alpena we looked at in the last video. This car is definitely one to put your foot down in. Comes to us with an estimate of £12,000 to £14,000. Again, nice example. These things are incredibly rare now. You don't see many of them on the road. So if you're looking for something like an investment, this might be the one for you. Now, it's not often that we feature the big American stuff in these previews, but I think this car has definitely got to be an exception. This is a lovely example of a Ford Fairlane. It's lot number 64 in the upcoming sale. And the reason we're featuring it is because I don't think I've ever seen an American car come to market with us at least, that is this clean and tidy. It's clearly been cherished throughout its life. Obviously, originally started its life in the States and was imported to the United Kingdom. It's obviously finished in white, two-tone white and blue. Nice interior, half sort of leather vinyl interior in there as well. It was just really does present really well, and the soundtrack with it as well, produced from that Thunderbird V8, is amazing. It sounds very nice. Obviously, a big old boat, you're going to need a nice long garage to fit it in, but you know, they don't come around this nice. And if you have got the space for it, and if this is your sort of thing, then this is definitely the one for you, because it is very tidy. This one comes to us with an estimate of £15,000 to £17,000. Some people will deem that as a lot of money for one in this current market, but they don't come back like this very often. The Ford Fairlane is rare as seen as well. So if you're into your big American cars, this is the one for you. Next up, you join me with yet another classic BMW. We obviously looked at that E30 earlier. We talked about how much they're appreciating. And this one is another one that is very desirable in the current market. This is a lovely example of a BMW 840 Ci. It's on number 68 in the upcoming sale. And it's from the E31 generation of the 8 Series. So the first generation of the 8 Series. And it does look like a very nice example. Finished in red, obviously. Grey leather napper interior with red piping. It really does look the part. It looks like it's really been well cared for. Now, this one started its life in Hong Kong, has been imported to the UK, came here in 2017. It's been owned by the vendor for the last 3 or 4 years. And it boasts just 48,000 miles on the clock, which is believed to be correct. We don't quite have enough paperwork to back it up, but there is sort of an indication there that it could well be correct. And based on its condition alone, I would say so. Now, these things are great. They're a proper sort of 90s sports car. Obviously, you've got the pop-up headlights, a big 4.4 litre V8 under the bonnet, about 286 brake horsepower. So plenty of punch under there. And just overall a great driving experience. They do look the part as well. Obviously, they're a nice change from this sort of modern-looking BMW. Nice sort of wedge shape. So this one comes to us with an estimate of £18,000 to £20,000. You know, I think for a low mileage first generation 8 Series, that is you know, good value for money. So if this is your sort of thing, then make sure you come down and have a bid. So now you join me with the car that's probably got the most long-standing provenance out of all the cars in the auction. This one is an Austin 10 Clifton Tourer. It's lot number 71 in the upcoming sale. A very nice pre-war example. I can't say, you know, they don't come to market quite like this very often. And it was an enjoyable drive when I drove it as well. So a very nice one. This obviously is got the benefits from the dicky seat in the back, which is always quite a nice addition. Bit of fun. Finishing obviously cream with a cream and maroon two-tone finish with the maroon soft top. Got purple leather interior in there as well. This one's been owned by the vendor for the last 27 years. So he purchased this in 1998 in pretty poor condition. He's since undertaken a full restoration in that time, and it presents how it does today because of that. Now, I mentioned provenance earlier on. This is one of just 50 Austin 10 Cliftons believed to be left. And this one has got an incredible backstory as well. So this was actually used by pilots during World War II at RAF Warmwell, which is just outside of Weymouth. That site was frequently targeted by German air raids, and this car actually suffered a bullet hole through the radiator cowl, a hole which is still there. It actually ended up finishing off in the base of the carb, but the hole is still there. The whole, obviously, carb's been repaired now, but there's also photos of that on file as well. So a bit of wartime provenance for you as well. And it's nice to see that that sort of thing has been kept, because that's all part of its story. Now, this one comes to us with an estimate of £4,000 to £5,000. I think that's great value for money for a pre-war car in this condition with that sort of backstory. You know, it's a nice one. It's sort of clearly been well looked after. It comes from a very good home. So if this is your sort of thing again, then I recommend getting your hands on it. Well, it looks like we're having a bit of a BMW bonanza in this sale, really, because you join me by yet another one. Another E30 example. This one slightly different to that 318 IS that we looked at earlier, and very different to that 8 Series that we looked at just a couple of cars ago. This one is a lovely example of a BMW 325i Touring. It is an E30 example, lot number 72 in the upcoming auction. Now this one has, again, got a very nice history file with it, a very nice backstory to it. It's been the ownership of the same family for the last 23 years, I believe. And it presents, pretty well. Again, by no means concourse, but a very usable, appears to be solid example. But what really sells this car, I believe, is the fact it's done just 38,000 miles from new, which is backed up by service history from 1989 all the way up to 2020. So yeah, 38,000 miles. It benefits from a 5-speed manual gearbox, which makes these things a lot more drivable, and a lot more fun and easy to use, as opposed to the automatic gearboxes. 2.5 litre engine under the bonnet. It just presents really well. Another practical classic. It's like, it's what I like to see. You could use this for all sorts of purposes, and it's drivable. It's not too old that it's going to be a chore to drive every time, but it's also got that sort of analog feel that a lot of classic enthusiasts appreciate. Now this one comes to us with an estimate of £8,000 to £10,000. I think that is very achievable money, really, for an example of a classic BMW with such low mileage, low ownership history as well. Like I say, been owned by the vendor since 2000, the vendor's late father, since 2002. So, lots of provenance, lots of good history with it, and a pretty good example of an E30 BMW Touring. Now, again, you join me with sort of a mid-century, just post-war classic. We've seemed to have accrued a lot of them this time around, and it's actually been quite a pleasure because we've had some nice bits and pieces in, and this one is definitely no exception. This is a lovely example of a 1947-48 Rover P2 12 horsepower Tourer, obviously finishing cream, nice brown leather interior in there as well. Now this car has got some real provenance to it, some real great history. It's been in the ownership of the vendor for the last 37 years, and it shows just one former keeper on the logbook. It's been in the same family from new, so a nice long traceable ownership history on it. Now, it's one of the last 37 Rover P2s Tourers that are expected to remain on the roads in the UK today, and there wasn't very many of them made in the first place. I think roughly about 200 P2 post-war P2 Tourers were actually made between 1947 and 1948. So a rare car indeed. This one obviously looks the part. Now, it's also benefited from some work over time. 2014-15, it had a massive overhaul. Brakes were looked at. It was repainted in certain areas as well. So it's had some, real big, important work done to it to sort of make it as presentable and as usable as it is here today. These things, pre-war stuff can usually be a little bit hard to drive, but it's actually pretty easy once you're going along. It's a nice experience. Nice, again, analog, old-fashioned, but still a very nice experience. Now, this one comes to us with an estimate of £8,000 to £10,000. Obviously, it's more at the more expensive end of the pre-war stuff at the moment, but I think that's definitely an achievable price. If you take a look at this, we looked at the P2 Sports Saloon in the last video. They're two very rare examples of a Rover P2. Obviously, they're becoming very scarce now. One of the last 37. So, surely, if you are into this sort of thing, that is the price you'd be prepared to pay. Now, we love a fast forward here at SWVA, and we're proud to present this one here. This one is lot number 97 in the auction. It's a Ford Escort RS2000 4x4, finishing the lovely petrol blue, very nice colour, over cloth Recaros. It is really, really nice. Obviously, Mark 6 example of the RS2000 4x4, and it's probably the last fast Ford produced for the 20th century. Very late these things were. This is a 1996 example. And they're great fun. I think these ones are particularly undervalued. Now, this one's just had 3 former keepers from new. It's got a great history file, and it's also just one of 350 that were actually produced for the road, because obviously these were a homologation car for Ford's sort of rally endeavours. So one of just 350, very few of these around. This one's completed about 90,000 miles from new, and that's all backed up by a stamped service book, which has 13 stamps all the way up to 2010. And in that last sort of 15 years or so, it's covered just 6,000 miles. So, a pretty considering its age, it's low mileage. You know, 91,000 miles on the clock, I believe it's got. Presents very well. It's a, you know, a nice, again, usable, modern-ish classic, and I'm sure these will appreciate as time goes on. I think what's probably holding them back is the Mark 6 shaping, because I know that wasn't particularly favourable, or isn't particularly favourable amongst Ford enthusiasts, but a nice one anyway. This one comes to us an estimate of £5,000 to £6,000. I think that's great value for money. When you consider what other fast Fords are making, ones that aren't really too much older than this one, then, you know, that's definitely good value for money. Obviously, they pack a bit of performance as well, 2-litre engine under the bonnet. So if this is your sort of thing, then come down, have a look at the history file, and you might find that this is the one for you. Now, coming to the end of this video, and I just wanted to feature this one as the penultimate sort of car that we feature. This is probably, well, easily one of the best examples that we've got actually in the auction this time. Now, this is a 1958 Hillman Minkx convertible. It's lot number 103 in the upcoming sale, and it's very, very nice indeed. Finishing obviously this nice cream over sort of blue with a nice baby blue interior. It really has got that sort of 50s feel to it, and it is in fantastic condition. It's been fully restored over the last sort of 8 years or so, and yeah, it's, you know, a very, very nice one indeed. Now, the vendor bought this in pretty poor condition. He's since spent about £10,000 to £20,000, he tells me, on restoration. I think that is evident on the condition that you see here. He tells me that the underneath is as clean as a whistle. Not something that I've checked myself, but I'm sure that he's not misleading us about that, because you can just tell from the condition of the top of this car that it is a very nice one. Unfortunately, there's not too much paperwork on file to back up that restoration, but you can just see in its condition that it is very, very nice. It's been done to a high standard. And you know, cars like this don't come about particularly too often. So a very nice example indeed. This one comes to us with an estimate of £4,000 to £5,000. Again, a nice, achievable, affordable price for a classic motor car. It's a drivable thing. It's usable on the modern roads. It's perfect for the summertime. If this is your sort of thing, you could take this to shows easily. You could take the family out with the top down. Could take it down Westover Road or down Sandbanks locally, and it will be perfect for that sort of thing. So yeah, £4,000 to £5,000, good value for money. Now, the last car we'll feature in this video, is this lovely example of an Austin 6 Westminster, finished in beautiful green, two-tone black and green with a matching green leather interior. This example is very, very nice indeed. We actually sold this car about 4 years ago, and it made £23,000. So, you know, very, very nice one, this one. It's one of just 5 that are expected to remain still in existence. There's only about 50 examples of the Westminster actually produced. And it's been in the ownership of the current registered keeper for the last 16 years. I spent the last 4 years as part of a private collection, but that keeper hasn't been added to the logbook. So very nice example, this one. Obviously, these things are known as a Westminster Sports Saloon. So, you know, similar to the Rover P2 that we looked at in the last video, these things, the Austin 16.6 was produced with 3 side windows. The Westminsters were produced with 2, so to have that more sportier styling, and they're very rare for it. Now, this car comes with a good amount of documentation with it as well. It's easily one of the most collectible pre-war Austins that there is. Comes to us now with an estimate of £12,000 to £15,000. When you take into account what it sold for 4 years ago with us, it shows you just how much pre-war stuff has dropped, but how much of a bargain that this could be. And the other thing that makes this quite a nice addition to the sale is we've actually got a matching Thompson Dart Caravan prototype, which you'll be able to see on screen now, which is in matching colours, would fit this car very well. It's sold separately, but I would recommend to anybody who's looking at purchasing this car to go in for the Caravan as well, because you could have a nice sort of pre-war Caravan set there, and that's got amazing provenance as well. I'd recommend taking a look at the website or coming down to view that Caravan, because it is really good. So that sums up today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll go on to the details of the sale now. Well, that's the end of our second preview. Obviously, it looked at another 15 cars there in the sale. So over the 2 previews, we looked at about 30 cars. That's around about a third of the auction. We've got 104 cars going through in our summer classic and performance auction. That takes place on the 31st of July. And if I just go through a few details now, we do actually offer viewing days. Viewing days will take place from the 26th of July up until the 30th of July. So the Saturday to the Wednesday. Unfortunately, we're not open on the Sunday, but Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the times for those are available on our website. So do check those out. Bidding registration should now definitely be open on our website as well. So what you need to do is head to our website, head to the register section, click Classic Car Buyer. You'll then be taken through to fill out a form, pay a deposit, and then we'll give you a call to find out which bidding format that you would like to use. So it's all guns blazing here. We're all ready to go. Like I say, if you are interested in any of the lots you've seen in this video, then please come down to view. Or if you can't quite make it down, then please do get in contact with us. Either give us a ring on 01202 745 466 or email us at classics@swva.co.uk, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Again, thank you very much for watching. This has been preview number 2, and we'll see you on Saledale.